Hello everyone, I am Sarita, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering from Holy Grace Academy of Engineering, Mala. So now I'm going to discuss a topic from Basics of Electrical and Electronics Engineering as per KTU syllabus. So let's get started. I'm going to start module 6. The first topic is communication. So as you all know, communication is exchanging information between two users, or we are sending the message from a transmitter to the receiver through a medium. So this is communication is all about. So generally a communication system having a transmitter section, we have a transmitter and an antenna, and the receiver section where we have a receiver and an antenna, and we will be sending the message through a channel. Here. So communication system or communication can be classified into two. One is baseband communication. So what is baseband communication? In baseband communication, we are sending our information or our message signal alone without doing any process. Clear? So in baseband communication, we are sending our pure or raw signal without any process from the transmitter to the receiver. So usually our message signal is having low frequency. So that we have some disadvantages in baseband communication. Let's see what are they. The first thing is, for an effective communication, some factors to be considered. The first factor is the the wavelength of the message signal should be comparable with the antenna size. So this is the first major condition to be followed for an effective communication. Yeah? The wavelength should be proportional to the antenna size. So in baseband communication, we are sending a message signal having low frequency. So let's see what is the relation between frequency and wavelength. So frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength. So we can remove the proportionality sign with a constant. Okay. So this is the formula, F is equal to C by lambda. So from the formula, it is very clear that this frequency is inversely proportional to lambda. That means if the frequency is increased, lambda will decrease, and vice versa. Clear? So in baseband signal, we are sending the message signal with a low frequency. So that message signal having low frequency, so the wavelength of the signal will be high. So as per our condition, if the wavelength of the message is high, the size of the antenna should be high. So this is practically impossible. Clear? So one of the disadvantage of baseband communication is that since we are sending the low frequency message signal alone, we have to make the size of the antenna much higher. Clear? So this is the first case. The second disadvantage is that we know that energy is equal to h nu, where nu is the frequency. So when frequency is small, then the energy will be very less. Clear? So since we have a message signal with a low frequency, the energy will be less. So that we cannot send this message signal for a long distance. It will get depleted. This is the another disadvantage of baseband communication. Yeah? So for a baseband communication, antenna size should be high, and as well as its energy will be less, so that it cannot travel for a long distance. So these are the basic disadvantages of baseband communication. So to rectify this problem, we are going for another communication called carrier communication. Okay, carrier communication, and this is always happening in radio communication also. So in carrier communication, what we are doing is, the disadvantage of these all these disadvantages of this baseband communication is rectified by using carrier communication. The basic disadvantages, the message signals are having low frequency. So we cannot change the frequency of a message signal because message signal is a raw signal or information we want to send. So there should not be any alteration in the message signal. So we have another solution is we will be taking another signal with a high frequency which is known as carrier signal. With a high frequency. Okay. Then we are loading this low frequency message signal onto this high frequency carrier signal, and then we will be sending these two signals together. Okay. So what we are doing is loading low frequency message signal onto the high frequency carrier signal. Okay. So for this process, the main thing to be followed is this message signal as well as this carrier signal should be compatible. For that, we have to change. We can change the characteristics of this carrier signal with respect to the message signal. Because we cannot change the message signal. As I told already, the message signal is a raw signal that we want to send. So the only option is we can change this property or parameters of the carrier signal with respect to the message signal. So that process is known as modulation. Okay, so modulation is the process of changing the characteristics of the carrier wave with respect to the message signal. Clear? So we know that all the signals can be represented using a mathematical formula. So we will be considering a sine wave or a cosine wave. We can represent as, I am taking as a sine wave. So we can represent a signal as A sine omega t plus theta. So in this A is peak amplitude of the signal, where omega t is the frequency and theta is the phase. Okay. Suppose this is our carrier signal. Okay. So these are the three parameters: amplitude, frequency and phase. So let this signal be our carrier signal having an amplitude, frequency and phase. So these are the three parameters. So we can change either of these parameters with respect to the message signal. That is what modulation means. Okay? So if you are changing amplitude of the carrier signal with respect to the message signal, then it is known as amplitude modulation. If you are changing frequency with respect to the message signal, then it is known as FM. If you are changing phase with respect to the message signal, that will be known as phase modulation. Clear? So this FM and PM together known as angle modulation. So these are all the different modulation techniques: amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation. FM and PM together known as angle modulation. Clear? So using this modulation process, the disadvantages which has been seen in the baseband communication can be rectified. So this is the introduction of the communication. Yeah? So we have two communication: baseband communication and carrier communication. In baseband communication, we are sending the message signal alone. So we have some disadvantages. Antenna size should be large as well as energy will be less. So we cannot send the signal for a long distance. To rectify all these problems, we are going for another communication called carrier communication. In this, we are following a process called modulation. Modulation is the process of changing the characteristics of a carrier wave with respect to the message signal. Either you can change amplitude or frequency or phase. So depending upon the parameter which you are changing, we can classify the modulation into categories like amplitude modulation, frequency modulation and phase modulation. And phase modulation and frequency modulation can be together called as angle modulation. Clear? I hope you all clear with this session. So we'll see you in the next session. So we'll see amplitude modulation in detail. So amplitude modulation is the process of changing the amplitude of carrier with respect to message signal. Okay, as I already told you, the modulation is the process of changing the characteristics of a carrier wave. Since it is an amplitude modulation, we are changing the amplitude of the carrier wave with respect to the message signal. So let's see, I am taking a message signal with a peak amplitude EM and a carrier signal with a peak amplitude EC. So from the figure itself, it is clear that the frequency of the carrier signal is much higher than the message signal. So after modulation, we are getting a wave like this. That is, this carrier wave will be, the amplitude of the carrier wave will be changed according to the message signal. So we have two amplitude, one is EM plus EC, another one is EM minus EC. So as I told you, the process is we are imposing or we are loading the message signal onto the carrier signal. So this amplitude of the carrier signal will get added with the message signal. We have a message signal with an EM as a positive peak and minus EM as a negative peak. So for this wave, this carrier wave will get added with EM as well as this minus EM. So we are getting two components, EM plus EC and EM minus EC. Clear? So this is the waveform which we got after amplitude modulation. A higher peak and a much lower peak with EM plus EC amplitude and EM minus EC amplitude. Yeah? Now we are going to represent the modulated wave using mathematical equation. We are going to derive the equation for the wave after modulation. So you can take either a sine wave or a cosine wave. So now I am taking both message and carrier a sine wave. Okay, so I am taking sine wave in message signal and carrier signal as a sine wave. So I am representing first the message signal as m of t is equal to Em sine omega m t. Here Em is the peak amplitude of the message signal and omega m is the angular frequency of the message signal. And next I am representing the carrier wave as Ec sine omega ct. So Ec is the peak amplitude of the carrier signal and omega is the angular frequency of the carrier signal. So after modulation, I will be getting a signal and denoting it as EAM. Signal after amplitude modulation. After amplitude modulation, I will be getting signal as EC plus m of t into sine omega ct. Because modulation is the process of changing the carrier signal with respect to the message signal, right? So the amplitude of the carrier will change or will added with the message signal. So that's why I am writing the equation as EC plus m of t whole bracket into sine omega ct. Because the amplitude only gets changed after the modulation. Frequency will be the same. So that's why we call this as amplitude modulation. So we can substitute m of t here. So it becomes EC plus m of t is Em sine omega mt. So Em sine omega mt into sine omega ct. Just take this EC out. So the equation becomes EC into 1 plus Em by EC sine omega mt into sine omega ct. Okay, so we get a term Em by Ec. This is nothing but modulation index of amplitude modulation denoted as MA, that is modulation index, which is equal to Em by Ec. So modulation index of amplitude modulation is the ratio of peak amplitude of message signal to the peak amplitude of carrier signal. So now we can replace this EM by EC with modulation index MA. So the equation becomes EC into 1 plus MA sine omega nt into sine omega ct. You expand this equation, so it becomes EC sine omega ct plus EC MA sine omega nt sine omega ct. Clear? So this is sine A, this is in the form of sine A sine B. So what is sine A sine B? It's nothing but half into cos A minus B minus cos A plus B. So using the formula, I'm going to expand this equation. So it becomes EAM is equal to EC sine omega ct plus ECMA divided by 2 into cos omega c minus omega m into t minus cos omega c plus omega m into t. Okay, you can expand this equation again. So you have in final equation you have three terms. What are they? First one is EC sine omega ct. The second term is EC into MA divided by 2 into cos of omega c minus omega m into t minus EC into M divided by 2 cos of omega c plus omega m into t. So these are all the three terms which we got after the amplitude modulation. So the first term is nothing but the carrier. See, we have taken as carrier as EC sine omega ct. So first term is carrier itself. The second term is having the frequency less than the carrier frequency. So we can call it as lower sideband. Lower sideband. The third term is which is having the frequency higher than the carrier frequency. So we can mark it as upper sideband. Okay. So this is the final equation with three terms. One is carrier wave, another one is lower sideband, another one is upper sideband. So I have done this using sine. So instead of sine you can take cosine wave. So the final equation becomes, if you are taking cosine, if the waves are cosine, then the final equation becomes EAM is equal to EC sine omega ct plus ECMA by 2 cos omega c minus omega m into t plus, instead of minus you will be getting plus ECM by 2 cos omega c plus omega m into t. All the three terms are same, only one difference. Here it is minus, here it is plus. So you can either take a sine wave or a cosine wave. Okay? So this is the final equation. Now, based on this equation, we are going to draw the frequency spectrum of amplitude modulation. Okay? So let's see how the frequency spectrum of amplitude modulation will be. So you have three components, three frequency components. One is omega c, another one is omega c minus omega m, and the next one is omega c plus omega m. So first is omega c. So what is the amplitude of the peak amplitude of the first component? It is EC. So I am marking it as EC. And other two components having the same amplitude, that is MEC by 2. Here also MAEC by 2. So MAEC by 2. There is also MAEC by 2. And the frequency, one is less than omega c, another one is greater than omega c. So I am marking here as omega c minus omega m. Here it is omega c plus omega m. So this is the frequency band or spectrum of amplitude modulation. Okay, now we know the lower frequency as omega c minus omega m, and upper sideband frequency is omega c plus omega m. So let's see what is the bandwidth. So what is bandwidth? Bandwidth is a range of frequency, or you can say that amount of data to be transmitted in a particular time. So bandwidth can be found by taking the difference between upper sideband frequency and lower sideband frequency. So let's see what is bandwidth of amplitude modulation. The upper sideband frequency is omega c plus omega m minus of omega c minus omega m. Okay? So you expand the equation, omega c plus omega m minus omega c plus omega m. Omega c and minus omega c is getting cancelled. So finally the bandwidth is 2 into omega m. So this is the bandwidth of amplitude modulated wave. Okay. Now we will compare some parameters of these three components. Okay. So you have three components. One is carrier wave, another one is lower sideband, another one is upper sideband. Okay. The first parameter I am going to compare is peak value of voltage. It is clear from the equation, the peak value of carrier wave is EC, and the peak value of upper sideband and lower sideband are same, which is nothing but MAEC by 2. Okay, so now we compare peak value of these three components. Now we are going to see the RMS value. How to find the RMS value? RMS value can be found by dividing the peak value by root 2. So RMS value of carrier will be EC by root 2, and LSB will be MAEC by 2 root 2. Here is also MAEC by 2 root 2. Okay. Now we are going to find the power, RMS value of power. So generally what is the equation for power? Voltage square divided by resistance. We know the RMS value of voltage is EC by root 2. So you just square this term and divide it by R. So it will be EC square by 2R. Okay. Now same way we can do it here also. So MAEC by 2 root 2, the whole square divided by R. So after the calculation you will be getting MA square, EC square. So 2 square is 4, root 2 square is 2. So 4 into 2 is 8. So find in the denominator you will be getting 8R. So same is for USB also. MA square EC square by 8R. Okay. Now we compare three parameters of carrier, lower sideband and upper sideband. Clear? So now we got the power of carrier wave as EC square by 2R, and LSB and USB is MA square EC square by 8R. Now we are going to find the total power of the amplitude modulated wave. For finding that, P total can be found by adding power of the carrier wave and power of LSB and power of upper sideband. So what is power of of carrier? It is EC square by 2R. And what is a power of LSB? LSB and USB are same, MA square EC square by 8R. So I am writing it as 2 into MA square EC square by 8R. So finally I am getting it as, I am taking this EC square by 2R out. So I will be getting 1 plus MA square by 2. So this is total power. So what is EC square by 2R? It is nothing but the power of the carrier wave. So you can represent the total power as PC into 1 plus MA square by 2. So this is the total power of amplitude modulation. Clear? So in amplitude modulation, we have derived an equation for modulated wave. From that we have drawn a spectrum, frequency spectrum, and we have found a bandwidth, and we have compared 3 factors or 3 parameters of both the, 3 parameters of carrier, LSB and USB. Finally, we found the total power of the amplitude modulated wave. So that's all about amplitude modulation. I hope it's all clear for you guys.